That was a little bit different tonight, eh? Welcome back to Cone Racing League. We, of course, are live. It's 8:15 on a Monday night. You know what that means. It's Tier 5 time. I'm your regular host, CRL Freefall, and once again, I am joined by the man of the myth, the Irish little legend. It's the one and only Leroy. How are you doing tonight, mate?
I'm doing fantastic. Got ready for the first Qatar GP race in Cone history at the Lusail International Circuit. Another exciting race should come. Obviously, it's a new test. It's a new track to commentate. It's a new track to drive for most of our drivers. And one thing I want to point out is that for the first time the whole season, Ben isn't actually the first car on track. It's actually Spider Rob. So
yeah, he's been picked to his usual position, CRL Spider 95, formerly known as Rob, and I suppose more colloquially known as Rob. He'll be the first to get a go at a qualifying trap here on Tier 5. Not the first in Cone, of course. Tier 4 has already broke ground. They're currently partway through their race, which saw a really close qualifying session, Lee, which bodes well for us. The rest only 16 corners, but a lot of them, there isn't much braking, Lee. There isn't much really time or space to found around this track.
No, there definitely is not at all. It went on the limit the whole track, and it's such a fun track to drive. Maybe not really in the race per se, but in qualifying trim, the track's a beauty. And obviously, with not many break zones means that ERS and fuel are very key factors on there, because I think you lose ERS over the course of a race, even if you didn't use any during the whole race. And same with fuel. Fuel's awful around here, so obviously there might be a safety car, but if there's any safety cars, drivers have to put in around about 3 laps of fuel if they want to make it to the end, and even then that would still be close. So it's a very different test from any other track here on the calendar, which is what will make it so fun in my opinion.
Absolutely, it's so unique. It's like it's almost like Portugal in the desert. I would describe it as. We're on board then with Spider as he gets the first ever qualifying lap here in Tier 5 around this circuit. He's currently going around turn number 7, this long right-hander, and it's we kind of briefly touched on it. It's not a track about braking zones. It's not about getting on the brakes as late as you can and turning in, at the right time and accelerating as brake as you can. It's all about carrying that momentum, carrying that minimum speed, keeping as high of a minimum speed, but also, Lee, keeping it within the track limits. And the track limits, I hope everybody listening at home knows their 3 times tables, because we're expecting a few tonight from this grid. And from every grid, to be fair. The one saving grace, I think, for them, it's not easy to get a safety car, Lee. Now, I think we've had 14 out of a possible 15 so far this season. We've already seen one in Tier 4, a little spoiler for those that haven't watched it, but it's less likely, so we'll see if we can get a nice clean green flag race as the first lap time's coming. A 24.1 for Spider. Ben goes in with a 22.840 shortly behind. It's the 2 Red Bulls coming in soon. Hedgehog 11 back in the grid once again. 24.446 for him. The reserve of Draper, I believe, is just starting his lap time. A McLaren also. I think the Mercedes is not in a lap time. It is actually. Maybe Pancake. No, it's not. That Mercedes just pulled into the pits. I've made a mug already tonight, Lee. Some things are new circuit, some new drivers here tonight. Same old me.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's funny, Oshim went with a 23.6, so next I believe is a Williams. I'm not sure which one. It's MKP up to the line. It's a 26.2, but I think he's pushing again, so that lap's not a full push up. Will Simpo up to the line with a 20.4. He goes to Kearney pole position, and Gautier from on with a 22.9. Further behind, it's the Alfa Romeo of Tom Tip-Top with a 23.3. It's a Mercedes of Pancake up to the line. He goes with a 23.7. So drivers just trying to find their free, as you said, it's very hard to not invalidate it. So honestly, it first that could be most important, because you want to just get a banker in, learn the limits, because if you don't, it's always the advantage. MKP's crashed, I think. He has. That is...
I'll try and get on board with that. That's
interesting.
I've never seen anybody crash there.
I haven't either. That's interesting.
That bodes well for the racing. A 26.222 was his banker. So it's a lap time in, I suppose, Lee, but like you say, it's crucial to get those these bankers in so you can maybe push a bit harder. MKP probably showing us that there, and pushing a little bit too hard. The man that I was trying to find there, you saw me flicking through the screens, Warrior Huntsman, has retired. That is, I believe, in the pits.
Yes. If he has a quality band, that's why it's got.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Him
I'm a
and
little
Ghost
bit...
Danger one have quality bands.
The two. So the Aston,
Where'd you be without me, eh?
the Mercedes and the Alpine both have quality bands. I'd be lost without you, mate. I absolutely would. So we do have, of course, 19 drivers here tonight, Lee. 3 reserves in the form of the mighty Atom in for the McLaren. Where is he? I don't want to say his name. That guy Draper. I couldn't mind if it was Drapes or Draper. He's in the Red Bull tonight, and I believe we also have a Ferrari in the form of... No, we don't have a Ferrari, sorry. It's
No,
a
we
Red
don't.
Bull.
The Ferrari's the one that's missing.
It's not a Red Bull, it's a
Bull,
Mercedes. It's Warrior Huntsman, it's the man we were just speaking about. Oh dear. A little bit all over the shop tonight by the looks of it, but well, we'll soon settle
it's
in.
all good. It's all good.
We'll soon settle into the Ditto track, as Mr. CRL Strauss has christened it. Last week, of course, we were in Australia, Lee. The man that won it isn't here tonight, Mark Wilson, picking up the 30 points. He bested out WTL Curley, who finished in P2 and is actually the championship leader now. Riordan, the reserve, rounded off that podium ahead of Duncan, Warrior Huntsman, Gotti Flow, Funny Osh Chimp, Wee Rabbi, Hedgehog, Pancake, and Murphy, with the DNFers of CRL Spider, MKP, Mighty Atom, Topher, Victor Mean, Will Simple, Ghost Danger 1, Ben, and AFL. And what was it was a pretty wet and wild Australian Grand.
That means your championship standings now. We're only through them. Currently raised the standings on 38 points, with Funny Osh Chimp in P2 behind him on 34. Then it's Murphy on 33. Then Gotti F1 and Mark Wilson P4 and P5 on 32. AFL in 5th on 31. Tom Tip Top 26 and 7th. Nacho in 8th and 24. Then it's Duncan in 9th. Spider in 10th. Pancake in 11th. And Mighty Baguette and Ben and Hedgehog all on 12 points, going on the 14th. MKP in 15th. Topher in 16th. Ghost Danger 1 rounds out your points scores. And then Will Simbo, me, Mooney, Victor Mina all had to score points. So, yeah, it's still a very tight championship, you know. I mean, top 3 are separated by what? No, top 5, no, top 6 if you want, are separated by just a race win. So it's crazy close at the top.
Yeah, it's mental when you consider, you know, the leader is on 38 points. We've had a total availability of what will be 93.
Yes.
These points have been shared about already this season, and if it keeps going this way, we're in for an absolute belter of a season, particularly the final few rounds. Exactly, it can only get better. Mighty Atom there going P10 with a 24.274 on his first lap. Let's get on board then with Murphy. 3 poles from the man from the northeast, but can he get 4 out of 4? And crucially, Lee, can he get his first win of the season? He's had a couple of good rounds, a couple of bad rounds, really, including the pre-season race. His debut for the season, went pretty well last week. A little bit of another disaster, following on from, of course, Japan, Austria. Could have been very close to a disaster, and that lap time could have been very close to disaster. It's really pushing the limits here, is old man Murphy. Won't mind me calling that, I'm sure, as he rounds this final corner. This could be one of the key corners, of course, here, Lee, because it is the only one with the DRS. Get a good exit there, and you could get a nice run down into turn 1. What's Murphy going to set? It's a 22.547 provisional P2 at the moment. I'm expecting these times to creep down to the low 22s. Maybe if somebody can pull together an absolute stonker, we'll see them go into the 21s, Lee. But Murphy up for the challenge once again. Let's see if he can convert that to some race pace, eh?
Yeah, let's see. I was making fun of him beforehand, but, you know, he says hopefully it will come. As Gautier Fillon coming to the final sector now, currently in P5 on a 22.9. The game said he was purple to the middle sector, but I'm not too sure about that. As you said, coming to the very tricky final corner, which is very crucial because it's obviously the only DRS zone, and on a quiet lap, it'll lose you time the whole way down the straight. The Frenchman up to the line in the Ferrari. Will it be an improvement at all? It will be an improvement by about 10.5. He goes P4 on a 22.7.
Does improve up into P4. Draper putting his first lap time in as well, going P6 for the Red Bull, 22.950. Just on that TRS point as well, so we see Topher go over the detection. The detection is actually just within the braking zone of that final turn. Could we see some maybe audacious moves to get ahead and then try and pull away down at the straight? Well, we'll find out very shortly. But I'll be keeping that move in my locker for Thursday night, Lee, just in case. The double DRS in Australia sort of lended itself to that. Could we see here with the single one? Will Simple is on a lap. Our current provisional pole sitter up to the line does improve with a 22.15 T2. Nearly saying a 1.5T, finding a quarter of a second in that last lap compared to his first. So there's the benchmark. Sent Curly up there with a P3, our championship leader, of course. He's had a few podiums over the seasons. He's never quite managed a title charge as of yet, Lee, but he's been consistent again this season, and in a grid that we've seen, with points being divvied out all over the place, sometimes consistency might be the difference.
Yes, I definitely agree. It was Victor Mean, the man who scored no points, but he's actually quite promising in qualifying. He's been quite unlucky in races. The Scotsman in the McLaren. I mean, there's another one in Colin. Another one who maybe isn't a great driver. Might be in Tier 3. Might be my main counter. Anyway, Victor Mean up to the line, goes P3 with a 22.5.
There's quite a few Scotsmen in Cohen. I held the title, though, as being the fastest Scotsman, I think you'll find. Victor Mean, of course. You've got Ghost Angel, not Ghost Angel 1, sorry, Mighty Atom on the grid tonight. MKP, Wee Rabby, and myself, the Scottish contingent. The only one not in Tier 5, however, so I think we'll need to get the Scottish school of drivers up and running, maybe. Get these boys powering up through the grid, getting a Scottish title battle going. Because the Irishmen are beating us quite comprehensively. There only is about 3 of you, and you're all in the top 2 tiers.
Yeah, we can just team up on the English, No matter.
That's very true. The natural enemy of the Scots and the Irish. Mighty Baguette, though, another enemy of the English. The French boys going with a 22.382. The Old Alliance kicking in strong there for him. It's a solid lap. Let's leave it be at that. We don't want to offend some of the boys. Tomo Tip Top, speaking of one of the boys, he's been around here for quite a few turns, and another season here in Cone for the boy Tomo Tip Top. He's had some good chances this season. Some maybe not the best running, but I think you could say that about everybody this season. It has been quite a shared grid, right? You see, he's currently on 26 points, P7 in the constructors, but when you think he's only 12 points off the top, and we know the pace this man can pull out with a hat. Definitely don't discount him. Currently P10 in this qualifying session, just about the round. The hairpin, it's sort of like a little hairpin. It's not quite a full hairpin that you see at the start of Sector 2, but it's a little hairpin. What's his Sector 2 time like? He's just about matching his time. So maybe there's some pace in this final sector here, Lee. Maybe these fast right-handers, as he does invalidate, and he did have a McLaren very close in front.
Pancakes
that may have just had a little bit of interference. Pancake crash. That's on the exit of turn 1, I believe.
Turn 1, yep. Yeah, it is. Must have just went wide on the exit curve there, because that can spin you. So, unfortunate for him. But currently P12, so the maximum we get in this session.
Yeah, his best time of 23.746, so like you say, to P12 will be the best he can achieve. Not many cars out on track. One of them is AFL, who is on a slowdown lap. Of course, AlphaTauri of Spider, he's in an out lap. I believe Mighty Atom is on a flying lap, so let's get on board with the flying Scotsman from the East Coast up in Fife-land. I was up there over the weekend, Lee. Can tell you the weather was nothing like here in Qatar. It was very similar to Australia, but can the wet-born specialist, I suppose you could call him, produce an absolute drive in the desert? We will see. Rounds that right-hander before the little left kink, and again another little right-hander before the semi-hairpin. We shall, don't know, maybe that name might not stick quite so well. It's not quite the P-est of G's, shall we say. Up to the final end of the second sector. Yes, 4.5 tenths up in his best time, and now it's all about the bravery as we get the liggery around these right-handers here, Lee. But he seems to still be running pretty well, missing the apex ever so slightly, and that compromises his speed through the corner. But it's all about this final turn now, and then get your toe down at him, up to the line, get the rear wing open, and let's see what time Mr. 76, Atom 76, can put in. It is going to be a 23.848 sees him jump up to P13, just ahead of Spider, who I believe is on his lap. A flurry of cars coming out the pits now, though, Lee. We're getting to the business end of this qualifying session. 2.5 minutes left.
Here we are, as I'm watching BX37 Pro currently in the Haas. On a lap currently P7 at the moment, coming through turn 2 and turn 3. Now coming towards the double right of turn 4 and turn 5 there, flinging in. He has 2 cars ahead of him. Oh, he's going to get blocked, is he? The McLaren just jumps out of the way. There's a Alfa Romeo again. Driver's doing actually quite well to get out of the way there. Now coming out of the hairpin, turn 5. No, turn 6, sorry, into turn 7, the wrong right hander. It's just, it feels like it goes on forever now. Getting good traction into turn 8. Now, usually outside the track here into turn 9. And get a good exit as you want to set yourself for this triple final sector here. These right-handers, you just want to fling the car in and hope it sticks. He does with the first one. Very nice. He hit the apex there, goes a little bit wide, but it's okay. Just go flat out, hope the car sticks, does very well. And then you want to go into 6th gear, he flings it in again. Very good from Ben here. Now coming into the final corner, brake just after the 50-meter board. Late apex, he goes a bit wide there, but keeps it within track limits. This is a competitive lap from Ben. Up to the line for the Haas driver. Now it's going to be a 22-1. He misses out on pole by 300s. Jesus.
31 thousandths indeed. What a stonker of a lap there by Ben. He looked very, very solid, very committed through those corners and made it stick. So unfortunate, he's just going to miss out on pole. And we've seen there, of course, his battery was ending at the tail end of the lap. He's going to struggle to get another one. And I'm just trying to find who's out the end as Hedgehog retires in the pits. I think AFL is on a flyer by the looks of this ERS. He's going to round this final corner and get that DRS open, get that toe down and push that Aston Martin as fast and as quick towards the line as he can. Where is our Manny, our tier 3 commentator, going to put his Aston Martin as provisional P9 at 23.106. Next up is an Alpha Tauri. I believe that is Spider, who's into the pits. His teammate up next, Lee.
No, Murph has backed off. He was starting on a lap. He's going to start about 10 seconds ago. He's putting it very tight here. But Murphy will be the last one to start laps, so we'll have to keep an eye on him to the very end. Next up is a is that a Williams? No, it's actually a Red Bull. I'm actually not sure. It's just Draper on the down lap. Draper's on the down lap. He's not going to make it, is he?
I think he's going to struggle. I'm just watching Murphy to make sure he makes it. He does.
Murphy will make it, I think. Yeah, Draper doesn't make it, so unfortunately for him. Next up is an Alfa Romeo, I think. Is it? Yeah, Tomo Tip Top.
It's Tomo Tip Top, yep. Up to the line then.
P8. Next is a McLaren Victor Main P3.
Yep. Currently into the pits. Topher then is the next up to the line. Currently P17 with a 26.2. Does improve and goes P16 with a 24.835. Might be get P4. We saw him. If he can find any time at all, and it looks as if he's a tenth, nearly 2 tenths up in the time, Lee, this could be very, very close. He run that track limit as close as he can. I think this could be the pole time incoming, or provisional pole, because don't forget, Murphy's still out there.
Oh, he misses out! It's by 9 thousandths. Oh my god, Murphy, though, we've been looking to match it here. You need to find a lot of time. 4 tenths to be exact. He's up. He's down by a tenth, actually, so we need to just kind of send it in through this final sector and hope the car sticks. Murphy flinging it in. It's looked nearly perfect for him to be there so far. Coming down into the last left-hander again. He's sent it to the final sector, trying to get any time he can into the final corner break just after the 50. Use the apex on the inside. It's a good run from Murphy up to the line. He could have gained a bit of time here. Coming up to the line. I won't be Paul, I don't think, from Murphy. Across the line for him now. It's P5. That is the first time Murphy's not been on pole this season, but a good lap from him. But that top 4, all on .1s. Oh my god, Scott.
42,000 separate our top 4 of Will Simple, Mighty Baguette, BX37 Pro and Victor Mean. The man in P5 Murphy. He has 3 out of 3 poles going into this season, or into this session tonight for this season so far. It's going to be 3 out of 4, a quarter a second off the best lap time, but still within contention. But what a performance by these 4. Will Simple takes pole position ahead of Mighty Baguette. BX37 Pro ahead of Victor Mean on row 2. Row 3 is the two Britishmen of Murphy and Curley ahead of Gautier, Lafalon and Thomas Tiptop, 7 and 8 respectively. The reservist of the Drapist comes in P9 ahead of P10 AFL. Chimp and Pancake. Chimp having an uncharacteristic poor performance here in qualifying, down in P11 and 12. Atom and Spider 13 and 14. Hedgehog, Topher 15, 16. MKP 17. Warrior Huntsman with the quali ban in 18. I believe Ghost Angel 1, was he on a quali ban as well?
He was, yes.
So the two quali bans, funnily enough, coming in last. Who would have guessed it, Lee? Who would have guessed it? But now we have 29 laps around the Ditto Grand Prix of the Lusail. We won't tell.
Let me see our nickname from that one.
We won't tell people how long it took me to be able to pronounce that right. I believe it was Friday night we had that discussion. Or was it first? It must have been first night. And I was calling it the Lusari, the Lusulia, the Loziali.
I mean, if you just read it, you know, there's no I at the end, it's an N at the end, Scott. So, I mean, I think you're turning more blind than I am, man. I'm rubbing off on you.
You're forgetting it's written in English and I only speak Scottish. Nah, I was hoping for a chuckle or something there at least. Anyway, it's going to be race time very soon. Formation lap was on for Tier 4, but there was it seemed to be a little bit of a glitch. So the admin team, we took the sort of executive decision, and a big shout out to our admin team. They were on the ball with this when none of the head admins were about or preoccupied. They made the executive decision, and I fully give them my support in the back, and I think it's the right thing tonight until we get a kind of full explanation of what's going on. Maybe a little bit upsetting for me and you, mate. We were hoping for a little bit extra time just to read through things and go through things. And
straight into the action.
Oh, straight in. 29 laps of action as well. Like we say, the key things to watch here tonight, folks. Track limits seems to be one of the big things. Fuel is a big thing. And also,
readying up is the big thing.
Readying up is the big thing. It says for me waiting for players. Oh, there we go. So we are going to be live here in Qatar for the inaugural Tier 5 race round this circuit. It is 5 red lights and lights out, and away they go. Will Simple leading the pack down towards turn 1. Seems to get a decent enough start. The two Hasses following suit. There's a Red Bull already off to the left-hand side of the track, right-hand side of your screen. But the leaders getting through the first turn are pretty tidy. The rest of the field seems to be as well. A little bit of swap and change in lead.
It's okay.
I think this is the cleanest first sector we've ever had, and we're not even all the way through it, but it is. Will leading the two Hasses. Victor Mean trying to go around about the outside of BX37 Pro already, though, as they come to the end of the first sector. No safety car this week, lads. You're doing very, very good as Victor Mean dives down the inside into the hairpin. A little bit of contact, and here comes Murphy capitalising on this little mistake here in the opening.
Ben's round. Ben tried to keep his nose in there. I didn't see behind. I'm not sure how far he was, but it was very hard. It was very hard for Brady Mean. Oh, there's an AFL round as well, but I think both avoid damage. I think I'm actually not. Okay, but the chaos, not too chaotic. We can keep up with it, but I think it was very hard for Victor Mean. He had Murph on his outside. He was already pretty towards the inside of the track. I think from what I saw from Victor Mean's POV, it wasn't a bit of what do you call it? What's the word? I can't think of the word.
Yeah, it was just sort of, there was so much going on around them, and I suppose these things do happen. Just a little quick overview of the tyres then, folks. Every car either on the mediums or the hards, as Thomas Tiptop overtakes his teammate to move up into P5. Curley ceding the position and not battling it out too much. He's going to have to be careful though. Gautier, Fallon, the Flying Frenchman, very close behind, as is Draper in the Red Bull. A little train form then for the top 4 pretty much, although Victor Mean just shy, or just over, sorry, 1 second clear of Baguette. 1.4 seconds, 1.2 now, the gap between 4 and 5, and that train running pretty much all the way down through the field till about Ben. A couple of cars into the pits by the look of it. Mighty Atom has been into the pits. No, he's the only one, sorry. I swear it flashed up saying there was a few more in the pits. Maybe I'm...
Scott, I told you, man. Your eyesight's gone, it's gone.
The synapses in my brain are fried and just flashing off in every direction here, Lee. I'm just seeing things.
Oh, Victor Mean's round! Oh, no! His race started off so well, and Victor Mean, just on traction, almost too near him, I think. Victor Mean will fall down into P18. Oh, McLaren's have had a mare start. P18 and P19 and miles off the pack. More unfortunate victim. I mean, this time his own error, and that means that Murphy will now be in P3. But the top two have broken away here. No, and being on mediums, and Murph actually has not used much for ZRS. That isn't bad at all for him yet. As Pancake with the first 3 seconds of the night, Scott. That would be a moment. Let's go T1 coming up the inside of WTL currently here into turn 1. The Ferrari sends it down the inside as he makes the move. Currently still on the outside. This time return to the inside for turn 2. Oh, got T1. Very good move on the outside. I'm not sure if you got the same camera angle I did, but I got a beautiful helicopter overview of that. That was amazing. And Draper going for it. Down the inside, he's half. Going for the move half. Not. He's still there. He's still there. Oh, very close, but currently holds on for now. Great racing so far.
Absolutely great racing from all 3 of these drivers that we've seen in the last half a lap here. Ben moving up into P12 ahead of Topher, and yeah, I'm getting the exact same angles as you, Lee. Some nice helicopter shots overhead. DRS now going to be enabled for this common lap, so they will get the detection as they go into turn 16. That little green circle in the bottom right hand of the corner of the map, and then the start finish straight. We'll see the rear wing of these cars open up as long as they're within 1 second at that green point. This little DRS train is definitely phoning the Lee behind Gotti LaFallona's big gate, one of our leaders in this pack. Half a second off the lead of Will Simple, but already
he's going for it now.
3 second pen. And when you look at likes of Murph, he's on those hards. He's going to lose a bit of time here on those harder tyres. But if he can keep with this pack generally, he might within a chance as Mighty Baguette does move up with the assistance of DRS into P1 ahead of the Williams of Will Simple. Further behind, changes happening galore. Draper going side by side through turn 1 with WTL Curly. Curly going to have the inside into turn 2 now, but Draper holding it around the outside. These two having a brilliant battle, giving each other just enough space, and no more. Draper moves up into P6. Spider with a penalty also.
They can 4 laps, and we have 3 penalties. Oh boy, this should be fun.
Get your abacus out, folks. There's going to be plenty of counting up tonight.
Yeah, we can do some bingo, you know.
Yeah, we can do some
bingo. See how many penalties everyone will have. Oh, yellow flag, that is... Sorry, they told you that was Victor Mean again, I think. Not having a fun time, but it has to be said at the moment.
Yeah, as a McLaren driver, it does pain me to see this a little bit. I must admit.
Oh, wow.
You know.
Still doing better than you, though, to be fair.
What do you mean? I had a podium in first day. How many podiums have you had? Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the sweaty turn, you know, am I?
That's what I say to those comments, Lee.
That's disgraceful. That's disgraceful behaviour from you.
We're going to jump on board then with Spider and Hedgehog. Spider just 2 tenths behind the recently turned father. It's one old father versus one new father here for P11, of course, point all the way down to P12. Let's have the battle of the daddies and see who's going to come out on top. Spider does have the DRS. It's the AlphaTauri, ahead of the parent of the Red Bull, and is Papa Spider out on top of hence Papa Hedgehog. It's the daddy animals here. You
have to stop this.
Yeah,
Ghost Danger 1 is round, I think. Oh, it's a safety car. Ghost Danger 1 is off into the wall. I mean, our first safety car, he has no wing left, so fair enough. It shouldn't make too much in terms of strategy, because it's too early to pit for anyone. But
yeah, lap 5 hours. Well, it could bring in, you know, you could see maybe the 2-stop, yeah. We've seen, you know, the fresh tyres are powerful in this game. Chimp having a spin under safety car. Well, at least he hasn't retired under safety car. We've seen that a few times last week. But I think Ghost Danger 1 going side by side with AFL. I don't know if there was contact or if it was just side by side racing. One of them being forced onto the curbs and the traction just disappearing underneath you like a tablecloth at a magician's party. I hope somebody gets what I'm trying to say there.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, he goes whoosh and all the plates stay on the table. Safety car there.
How did we get paired together? Jesus Christ.
Well, it's a miracle we're still going. Safety car then, Lee, lap 5 of 29. Mighty Baguette is going to form up behind it with the pack. This is great maybe for the likes of Murphy. The guys in front, of course, have used the best of the life out of these medium tyres. They've tried to pull that gap and it's going to be nullified now. he's still going to have a bit more pace in those hards. You know, every lap it tickles on, it's going to push towards him. Topher is in the pits, as is Pancake. We'll keep an eye on them. Victor Mean following suit as well. So we'll see what tyres go on all of those cars. There's another one, is Ghost Angel one. Of course, he's going to come in for a fresh front wing. Warrior Huntsman recently in the pits, and Mighty Atom a little bit adrift, but we'll probably see a couple of laps on their safety car. Hopefully, though, this week, no DNFs, no silly daft little penalties and touches. Hopefully, they've learned their lesson from last week. I think it's not unfair to say a bit scrappy under safety car last week.
Aye, well, I mean, the air conditions obviously made it harder, and I mean, I doubt most drivers they wear packs in Australia because you don't really see too much rain about it. So I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, hopefully drier conditions. Hopefully more practice in the dry. Hopefully everyone will keep it quite clean at the moment. But in real life, 2021, we didn't have it last year because of the World Cup. But it's back this year on the calendar, and I mean, Red Bull probably dominate again, but. You know, well, obviously this track actually is originally, I'm not sure if it still is, but I know it is originally a MotoGP circuit.
I believe it is, yeah. I think I've seen a couple of races here, more highlights to be fair than actual full races of the MotoGP. Those that are maybe of my age and of my region sports scene and such, you'd get your little run through on a Sunday or Saturday, and you get little snippets, and it did seem to always produce some great racing there. You can kind of tell it's tailored toward the bike, so it is quite narrow and quite twisty through some of the sectors. But of course, 2021, there was a hole in the calendar when the Aussie Grand Prix, which we were at last week, funnily enough, pulled out due to the COVID-19, the coronavirus restrictions. Qatar came in, filled the gap, and with the World Cup and just contract disputes, you know what F1's like with its contracts, of course. But it is on the calendar for this year. We'll go there later on in the season, and I mean, Red Bull domination, it's kind of just the thing right now, Lee. We'll wait and see. It could throw up some good racing, of course. We'll wait and see. Maybe. We'll see how she goes. I mean, I think anything right now that isn't a Red Bull domination or a Verstappen domination is welcomed. And who knows, we might even get a wet race there.
Keep dreaming, bud, keep dreaming. I mean, he still win, but like, it might only be about 10 seconds. I'm not sure what's happened between Ben and Currently. They keep swapping positions. I think it's sword now, though, so there's nothing to worry now. I think it's sword. Yeah,
it was maybe just a case of one of them not realising the pace of the cars in front, going side by side, and it causes that little thing of overtake him, and then he lets you by, and then he should overtake them. And I think I did see one. I might be hallucinating, but I think I saw one of them sort of pull off the track and resolve it themselves, which is good to see.
That's good to see, yeah.
We haven't seen any broken wings. We haven't seen any daft penalties. So, touch wood. Where's the wood? There it is.
I'm touching wood.
Touch the windowsill. Steady on, boy.
I was going to make that joke, but you know, I'll keep it sane. But no, of course, Mr. Dodds has to make the joke himself.
Absolutely. You know me, I'm a bit crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room.
A
rubber room with rats.
You said you put that in me for I didn't believe you, but fair enough.
Yeah, I did. I would try and get it in. And what a better time than a safety car. I suppose while we're on safety car, we didn't... It might be a late call, you know. There seems to be a bit of a gap, though, behind... what's going on with Cully? He's lost out a couple of positions.
I don't know.
Has he had a spin or something, or...?
Maybe he tried to let him back boy, but Rob doesn't, I don't think. No, Rob doesn't, so I'm not sure what happened. Anyway, safety car's in. We will get going now, and we might get the Frenchman. In has to lead us away. He'll... I mean, I want to leave him late around here, or go early, so they'll try and get a gap, because I want to leave it so people won't overtake you. Yeah, he's gone. Has he gone? He's gone now. Mighty Baguette has gone. He's gotten a good gap behind. But watch Thomas Tittle. He's right in the back of CRL Murphy going down into turn 1. Obviously, he can't overtake before the start-finish line. He'll go for the move now. Pin off the inside. On those medium tires will still be grippier at the moment. Into turn 1. We're trying to hold it. They make a little bit of contact. Wheel banging there. Thomas gets through, and now Murphy got the shot in behind with Gautier from right behind. But everyone keeping it very clean at the moment. And yeah, as you said, no damage rings and gaps are kind of stable.
Yeah, nobody getting caught sleeping there, of course. Murphy losing out of position, the only one, of course. But with Thomas Tip Top, we know he can be pacey. He got a great restart, it must be said. And of course, he's on the mediums. They're going to be a little bit more grippy. And of course, they're a little bit easier to warm up and get into a workable temperature. And just seem to get the run on Murphy very, very nicely. A little bit of contact, just slight crossing of passes with the turn in. But as the laps go on, Murphy will get a little bit of pace advantage. Of course, that will it'll come and go as this race goes on, Lee. The hards will get better than the mediums, then they'll pit for fresh hards. They'll have the undercut, fresher tyre advantage, and then Murphy will go on mediums towards the end, and it'll swing back. I think there was a little bit of swapping positions further back. Was it Curly swapping with somebody there, Lee?
Edge and Curly, that's who it was.
Battle it out, but for the most part, this restart been very, very clean. Let's give some love to AFL. He's pretty close to the rear of MKP. It's going to be a tricky track, of course, to watch tonight, Lee. We've got in a stereotypical race, it's going to be a DRS train. There's not going to be many overtakes, but we know these Tier 5 lads, they like to make things interesting. Speaking of interesting, we can see an Alpha Tauri weaving back and forward. They're looking for an opening, trying to either cut the drag or cut the slipstream or take the slipstream from Tom and Tip Top. He holds behind. MKP jumps Hedgehog 11 up into P10. Those two very close together, and I think going by the last lap, we know where the overtakers are going to come.
I mean, yeah, that's the main spot, but there still is the hairpin would be one if you're close enough. Yeah, turn would be the main one, with DRS especially. But I mean, the good thing is, a battle can usually continue up until you get to turn 4 and 5. Even then, they might continue until the hairpin. Like you can't go side by side it, but it is very costly at time. But it is great because you have these 5-hour battles go to at the very least the exit of turn 3, which is very nice to see indeed. Like, the mean penalty, 4th victim.
4th victim of the track limits. Yep, Victor Mean, we are just shy of the third of the way through this race. So by this rate, 12 of our 20 drivers will have a penalty. AFL, though, has had a spin in a very similar position, it seems, to where we saw, I think it was MKP crash out in qualifying. Still going in one piece, though, I take it, Lee.
Yeah, I don't believe he has damage anyway, so at the moment doing well. But I'm watching back over third. Murphy's doing a good job of saving his ERS now. Because he's on 60, Tom Tip Top is on 30, and I think Murphy understands that he won't be faster right now, just save his ERS, save his tyres. But yeah, well there's quite a big battle. You have 4th down to 7th, and then you have 8th down to 10th, and you have 11th down to 15th. No, sorry, 16th. So, groups. And top 2 within the second as well. So like everyone's split in the groups here, but like, the split isn't too much, which is very good to see.
Yeah, the grid hasn't spread out too much as well, which is, I suppose it is one of those circuits. There isn't a lot of time you can gain on the guys round about you with there not being as many braking zones, but, at the same time, you can run a little bit wide. You can maybe carry too much speed through one of these corners, and it will dearly cost you. Chimp and Hedgehog, another battle of the animals raging on. In fact, Hedgehog losing out to not just an animal, he's losing out to a food item. We've got quite the name repertoire on this tier, Lee. We've never really mentioned that.
Oh.
What is happening to young Hedgehog?
With the means almost at the back of the Mercedes, but he just was him, and then Pandy was trying to go for on Chimp. He's going to go for it into the triple right hander. Yeah, Chimp went by. I think Chimp doesn't want to fight that one. No point in on the fresh softs. There's no point in that one at all. Pancake trying to gain some time here. There's told for that penalty towards the back of the field. The battle for P3 though will heat up soon as we're going to see Murphy. I think he'll fly past Thomas up here. Yes, he will. Goes past and now gets up into P3. Easy enough for him. We're going to go for moving. Will sticks behind. Way out for now. Curly going for on Spider Rob. He gets the move. Yeah, pretty common DRS overtakes. So, yeah, but 11 laps in, we should see the medium runners in about lap 13 or 14, I do believe, if I'm correct. And then hard runners will probably stay at about lap 16 or 17. So, unless that some hard runners might try softs around here, which I'm not saying will definitely happen, but it's a possibility. Is funny how going to go from Pancake? Nope, it's disappointing for now. But yeah, as I said, really good battling, a very clean battling so far, which is something maybe that wasn't too as common in Australia as it is tonight. But very, very clean so far, I have to say.
Yeah, a lot of respect being given when they are going side by side through the likes of the first sector, through the few times we've seen it side by side through some of the second sector, some of the third sector has been pretty good to see. Stereotypical DRS overtakes, like you say, but that's kind of what we come to expect at Losail. Before we even raced here, we all kind of knew that was going to happen. We all knew that was going to be the sort of the end product and what we're going to get around this circuit. Warrior Huntsman very close to the rear of Hedgehog 11 for a split second there through one of these fast right-handers. We'll keep on board with him. It is the battle for P14. Hedgehog really dropping off from the pack as Warrior Huntsman runs wide round turn 15. Has to lift off and probably got a track warning limit there. We'll wait and see. Hedgehog does pull across to the right, gets a poor exit and seems to just be quite content letting these cars sail past. I wonder, is there a slight bit of damage on that Red Bull maybe?
There may be. I mean, I didn't see contact from what I was on moving, but it could be. Maybe he's just struggling, because I mean, there are guys on fresh tyres behind them with Topher and Huntsman. But yeah, it could be damage on that. Could be like a practice, you never know. So yeah, but this battle as MKP's going for on Curly, these two having a great battle into turn 5. MKP's spawned into him, MKP's out.
And
that would be a
safety car.
Yes,
yep.
I'm assuming we'll see all guys pit. Yeah, that was. It wasn't. I was on board with Curly. I'm actually not sure if he hit MKP or if MKP just lost the back end. Either way, could be looked at by stewards, could be not. I'm not too sure.
I think looking at things, MKP just lost it. Now, this is, not a whole cut and turn, not the whole truth, but from what I seen, there was no contact. MKP just losing it under traction, that rear end stepping out on him, maybe just getting too much of that curb, just riding too much and getting on the throttle too early. Interesting enough, the car's picking up 3-second time penalties under the safety car here, Lee. We are going to see the medium runners into the pits. Murphy is going to come into the pits, and I think we will just see a swapping of mediums onto hards and hards onto mediums. It will be about lap 14, 15 before we get racing, so those mediums can now on track. What has happened there?
It's a collision with Spider Rob, I think. But that's what the game says anyways, that's what I'm going off of. That could be looked at by stewards, unless Rob hit him after he crashed, I don't know, but that could be a penalty for Rob incoming, depending on what happened. Obviously I didn't see, so we'll have to wait and see on that one, but that's what the game says anyway, and it has given Rob a 5-second time penalty for a collision. So, yeah, Victor Mean out of the race, unfortunately. As you were saying, yeah, it's just been a straight up. AFL's on soft, I'm assuming he'll pit onto mediums, but at the moment, Pancake stayed out, and then Mighty Atom stayed out. Actually, Mighty Atom here, the Mighty Baguette, sorry, he's done great. He is in P2 on fresh tyres, and Will Sibbles in 6, so he's 3 cars in between him and Will, which is good for him because he needs to gain because of his penalty, so Mighty Baguette's done very well here.
Yeah, he's in a great position, of course. Pancake, 7-lap-old mediums in front. It's going to be very difficult to get to the end on those. Topher and Ghost Angel 1, P4 and 5 in a similar position. And Mighty Atom really going to struggle to, I'm not going to go and say it's impossible. I'm going to just say it's very highly unlikely that Mighty Atom, Topher, Ghost Angel 1 and Pancake are going to make it to the end on these mediums, but maybe just banking their luck, riding their chances that another safety car will make an appearance and they can get a quick dive into the pits for another set of mediums, maybe even a set of red striped hards, red striped softs, towards the end of this Grand Prix. Will Simple going to have to clear them to try and get in with his bat with Mighty Baguette, and let's not forget now, Lee, Will did pick up a penalty coming into the pit there. I don't know if it was the triple right-hander, if maybe just altering, telling the game he's going to pit, telling the game he's coming in for these tyres. And a man to watch as well, currently in P8 and P9 as well. Murphy and Gotti live low and had great pace so far this race. They're on the fresh mediums. They're the highest of these fresh medium runners, so definitely a couple of drivers to watch here when we get this race going again, though, Lee. We're just about to hit the halfway mark, and it's maybe not been as dramatic or as action as a sort of suspenseful, shall we say, of Australia, but there's still been plenty of action.
Yeah, I mean, and the safety car restarts kind of just spiced it all up, We have mixed tyres, so we have lots of mediums, a few on hards, and a few have stayed out, open for another safety car maybe, so a good mix in strategy spice safety car, which usually does kind of kill strategy, especially in this game, but it's still well there. But yeah, as you said, the one we're going for is Murph. Looking, obviously, I remember, I make fun of Murph for bottling race, but I mean, he's still P2 in championship. At the moment, he would, I believe, go into P1 with this result. So he's not doing bad at all. is Murph. But hopefully he'll be looking to convert a good qualifying into a good race position today.
Oh, absolutely. I know Murphy, he'll be desperate to get this car on the podium this season, considering, the quality pace especially. So that's, when you're hitting good results in qualifying, it always does sort of rile you up and push you on, because you know that you're in the top end of the pace differential of this grid. So to have that all be floated away because of maybe misfortune or a couple of mistakes in the race, he'll be desperate to try and get this car over the line in one piece in a great position.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting in a situation like this might just push him on even harder. But, there's plenty of other guys that'll be looking the same. Chimp has had some good pace. He's down there in P12. Ben's had some great pace in qualifying. He's down in P11 at the moment. He's not had some great race results. So I think the standards do reflect how just tight and how unpredictable this grid can really be. The grid has now all formed up on Pancake as the leader. And I think, I'm hoping we're going to see Bert Maylander pull that Aston Martin into the pits and get some racing underway at the end of 14 into 15.
Yeah, we should, hopefully. Yeah, it should be, as I said, a very interesting 14 hours. There might be safety cars, but 2 safety cars now. Fuel should not be an issue for these guys, which is good, because obviously, I don't want to see anyone out of fuel. A bit dramatic for us, but, realistically, we want to see drivers getting to the end. I'm at 2 full safety cars now. Hopefully, that shouldn't be an issue.
Shouldn't be. I don't see any indicators from what any of them said, unless somebody has I suppose even if they started an equal fuel, they should have saved enough by now to safely make it to the end. Safety car is going to come in this lap. We're going to get green flag racing on lap 15 of 29 here in Qatar, and it is going to be Cyril Pancake in the Mercedes 8-lap-old mediums. Of course, a few of those under the safety car, quite a few, is going to lead the pack, and he's coming out of the final corner now. It's up to him when he goes, and he's going to try and minimise this run down to turn 1 here with a late go. This is going to really bunch up the pack, hopefully no contact. We've seen a few of these in a few of the tiers in Australia, and they managed to keep them clean. Tier 5 looks to have done the same, and Pancake is away. They're 4 abreast, further behind there.
Word.
And, well, this will be an interesting run down into turn 1. We're on board
Murph.
with Will Simple and...
Simple.
Yeah, Will Simple
close.
almost making contact with
was Murph
Murphy.
On the inside. They're nearly 4 wide ahead. I'm trying to keep up with it here. Will Simple on the inside. After Martin and Gautier Fillon and Murphy make contact. Gautier Fillon stays where he is for now. Goes to 1 trying to defend from the Ferrari here into turn 5. Gets her on the outside. It's a mixture of fresh tyres and worn tyres here. Goes to 1's gone very deep into there. And he's got T-Sing Pony for a going wide. Oh!
That was
What's happening there?
That was incredibly close. Chimp coming together with his teammate as well, following on from that. Murphy made contact with a car in front. I don't know if he's got damage. I believe it was the Alfa Romeo, of Tomo Tiptop. But things, I think, as McConley put it quite elegantly, they're spicing up now on this restart. Will Simple on board with him as Ben and Draper have the ball in the background. The Draper is round, facing the wrong way, and maybe just losing it as well. Simple was down the inside of Topher into turn 15 up into P5. He's going to be desperately trying to hunt down Tomo Tiptop and might even get, but Tomo Tiptop in a grand position. Murphy with a penalty in P7 at the moment. Currently behind Topher, ahead of Gautier Fillon, but Murphy having a look down the inside into turn 1 on the older tired, the medium tired Aston Martin, and seems to have got the move done. Gautier Fillon falling through pretty close as well. Gets the move done. Here comes Ben now, falling on the red Ferrari. Going for a move down into turn number 4, and just about has got the move done on Gautier Fillon, has been up into P7. Next up for him is Murphy. These 3 having a right ding-dong battle. Mighty Atom loses out to Tomo Tiptop, although you expect that with the age of the Scotsman's tyres. And this Grand Prix really heating up in the desert here, Lee.
Yeah, but Maya Baguette's had a great restart. He didn't get involved at the end of the day. He's had 2.7 clean. He's about a 3-second gap behind to Tom Tiptop. And that's on to the guys on the penny, which obviously is quite lucky at this stage. So Maya Baguette having an amazing restart at the moment, as well as Simple on the back of Maya Yam, who probably will pit soon, you would expect, on those 14-lap-old tyres. But But Murphy will be hoping that he can stay back Edward longer. Will just trying to hold off with the straight. Ben's gone round the outside of Murphy into the left-hander. What a move from Ben. He's on a mission. Murphy pits. He could have damage, you know. I think he might do. Murphy, I mean, we spoke with him before to get a restart about one and to turn this into a good result. He might have damage. I'm not sure if he does or not. Real simple getting past Mike Yam at the P4. Watch Murphy there to see if he's damaged or not.
I think there was, through that safety car restart the first sector, there was a little bit of contact with the pack in front, just some cars braking a little bit earlier than others maybe predicted.
Yeah, there was damage.
That explains quite a lot. Murphy, his qualifying pace once again up there, his race pace pretty much up there as well. His luck, well, let's just say he rolled a couple of ones tonight. Though, still time, 12 laps to go in this Grand Prix. An interesting one to say. Mighty Atom, you expect him into the pit soon, 15 laps.
Oh, Mighty Atom is round!
And that is commentator's curse. He's held up Ben there as well by the looks of it. AFL getting a 3-second time penalty. And there's a Red Bull of Hedgehog round at the same corner as Atom. All over the show here now. Those older tyres just losing their grip in the blink of an eye. I was going to say Atom maybe going to try and stretch those out. He has had a few laps under safety car on those tyres, so maybe trying to stretch them out for the softs. We'll wait and see now. His race is in full turmoil. Chimp very close to the back of Warrior Huntsman has got a for long, picks up a 3-second penalty in P5. I believe that is his first of the evening. We'll check in with the penalties as Chimp tries to go around the outside into the final turn of Warrior Huntsman in the Mercedes. He is going to hold it and get it done. He is going to have DRS as well now to pull away down the straight into turn 1. Now, we've also got Ben on the recovery following that incident with the Mighty Atom. Gets a move down the inside into Chimp and gets 2-4-1 into turn 1. But Chimp not going to lie down and take this. He is going to try and fight back on the outside of turn 2. Chooses to slot in behind and settles in to P7, although he is still having a run. A little mini Lucas Ghost Danger 1 is out of the session.
Safety car again. That's good if you're like Pancake or something, you know, tougher. And it's good for Murphy at the back, but that's awful from what we get. He was sweet. He had like a 3-second gap to P2, but now that's been cut down completely there. Yeah, lost draws a penalty. So if you don't have penalty on, you're actually in the inferior thing in terms of drivers. You don't in terms of drivers who have penalty in this race. But yeah, that's good for likes of Ben. It's good for likes of Pancake as well. I wonder if anyone at the back of Dicker will try a soft tyre, Scott, because they can go to the end here. They don't be in the best condition, but if you're a Murph, if you're an Atom, if you're a Hedgehog, you might as well roll the dice with it because you have nothing to lose with it, especially Murph. You might as well try and salvage the best you can from this race. Yeah,
I'd be surprised if we don't see somebody try. The medium's obviously going to easily take you to the end. It's going to be probably about lap 20-21 before we get racing here again. So we might see some roll the dice in the softs. Pancake might be one of them. Let's get on board with him as he rolls into the Mercedes garage for, I believe, the second time this evening. This mechanic's coming out with some fresh tyres. And what striped wall are they? They are red striped softs.
Red, yes, here we go.
Rolling the dice is the Pancake.
Well, so.
He will do with a lot of cars behind coming into the pits. Warrior Huntsman coming in for some fresh red striped tyres, and a new front wing. A gaggle of cars coming in for tyres, it must be said. A few double stacks as well. The two Aston Martins double stacking. Spider on fresh mediums. Warrior Huntsman on the softs. Topher and Pancake on the softs. Draper on mediums. AFL on mediums. Hedgehog on mediums. Murphy is going to stay out on his old, 1 lap old mediums, and Mighty Atom on the fresh hards, going to stay out right to the end. And it gives us an interesting dynamic here. The top 7.
Here we go.
Top 7 all on 6 lap old tyres, and then a mix of fresh mediums, slightly used mediums in the case of Murphy, and fresh softs behind. Pancake going to be off like a rocket at this restart, hunting down those in front. And we've only, I think we're going to be lucky and maybe get 8, maybe 9 laps of racing. And with penalties galore kicking about, 3 seconds for, of course, Mighty Baguette, Will Simple 7, Gautier Le Fallon, Serial Pancake, Serial Topher, Warrior Huntsman, Serial Murphy, and AFL 1994. Spider 95 with 8 seconds, like you said, speeding into the pits, and also 1 for track limit violations. So, as the grid, of course, gets bunched up towards the end of this Grand Prix, there's less time for them to pull that gaps. There's a variety of tyres and a variety of strategies on show. It's going to be a little bit nutty, I think. A little bit chaotic.
Yes, it'll be quite chaotic, and we should, you know. I mean, we love that, but we love controlled chaos. Except, but yeah, as Curly pits now, he'll probably go on to sort. I don't know why you pit now. I'll pit that before, but anyway, that's a driver's decision. That means that everyone will be promoted up. That means that, well, the best. All the soft runners are penalties, right? So realistically, the best position I'd argue is still Thomas Tiptop. In second, no penalties. But I'd also argue Ben and Shimp are also. It's a really hard one to call because you know what's happening. Originally, I'd say the best drivers in positions are probably Thomas Tiptop, Ben, and Shimp. Just based on the fact that they have no penalties, you know. Definitely is the best strategy for those guys. Yeah, but the soft should be. Or there's currently Spider and Hedgehog. Spider the pit, get rid of for a second. Dulce's on the softs. Now we have half the grid on softs, like 6 on mediums and 4 on hard, so it's a very good mixed strategy.
Yeah, a lot of variation on the show here. Curly, Spider and Hedgehog all jumping into the pits very last minute there just to fire on a set of softs. Like I say, Curly was up, I believe it was P3 for him. I suppose he's going to have a lap less of tyre wear on those soft compound tyres, which could make a big difference towards the end, but it is, of course, a tyre wear under safety car. You can keep that to a pretty good minimum. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. You know, the soft tyres, it might have been worth just holding that track position, especially when overtaking is at a premium around this circuit. Lee, only really that DRS into turn 1 that needs, that invites it, sorry. For the overtake to happen. Like you say, the penalties will be key. Thomas Tiptop in a grand position here. 7-lap old hards. There's still going to be plenty of life in those tyres. Needs to make sure he gets them warmed up sufficiently though on this restart, or else it may be a little bit treacherous for him. But we are going to get racing here, Lee. It's going to be lap 21 of 29. 9 laps of racing to the end. Just a miniature sprint race, really.
Here we go. Yeah, might we get will lead this way for the second head get reset, he said. We were hoping that Thomas gets a penalty or we can just magic gap him, as we'll see what the Frenchman does. Goes to Jones after session, he's out. We'll see what the Frenchman does here. In the Haas, he's gone earlier. No, he hasn't gone, never mind, that's just my eyes deceiving me. He's going to do what Pancake did and go late. So hopefully we avoid incidents unlike last time. Everyone seems to be okay for now, just be careful, that's especially in the middle of the back. Might be that's gone. He's gone. He's got a good restart. It's clear, but just watch behind because it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, already Warrior Huntsman jumping ahead of Topher. They're almost free wide going into turn 1 here. The Mercedes on the inside gets a move on the Aston Martin. Murphy and Draper in the background as Ben gets past Gautier Fillon for P4. But I think overall here, Lee, we're pretty clean through this restart. Ben up 1, Pancake up 1, and the rest of them following as they were.
Yep, there indeed, Scott. Yeah, pretty clean, but so far, there's a weighing damage. That's Will Simple. He hit the back of the Alfa Romeo, and we chased it again here, Scott. We have indeed. Will Simple damage, and I'll probably have to pit now and go on to a set of tough tires. So we'll just lose positions, keep falling down the grid. Ben is looking for. He spun earlier. He spun that bomb was towards the back, and now he's up in the P3 here. Yeah, but we'll just see. Will Simple's gonna fall like a stone. Pancake past him, Shimp's gonna go past him, as Topher's around as well, and Murphy's around as well. Murphy not getting any luck, those two must have collided there, that's for sure. And, well, we said no chaos, we just spoke to very, very soon, I think, Scott.
Yeah, maybe just jinxing it ever so slightly. Spins galore here, but Ben, like you say, in a very strong position as we see Will Simple pulling in to the pits. I wonder if there's damage on that Williams. We'll wait and see. Warrior Huntsman is chasing down at Funny Osh Chimp 4P6 at the moment. Topher getting a 3-second time penalty just to add to his misery. And Huntsman using a lot of that ERS, gets the move done. Mighty Atom gets ahead of Draper, just closely behind. And Topher jumping ahead of Will Simple and Murphy, who are both into the pits. Plenty of battles here. Supposed to get into the business end of this Grand Prix where every position's vital. And Ben on the mediums versus Tomo Tip Top, sorry,
It's
hards.
a Haas one too.
It is indeed.
But when these guys driving well, Ben he's not messing about at all. He is. But watch over Pancake. Obviously, we're getting penalties and Drew's got penalties. We're getting having penalties and potential for the others that have penalties. Pancake could be in with a good shot of at least a podium. Obviously, last season championship, I believe he was runner up or if he was PT. I can't remember exactly. Obviously, switched the wheel this game, and I believe he was a few assists. But looking for his first podium in the new season there, he's definitely in contention to get that for now. We'll have to wait and see. Is there any battles for him behind the coasters? I believe we have the moment. Mighty Atom and shit. Mighty Atom, again, a good recovery drive. The walls are back after spinning, but he's currently now looking on for a P7. Obviously, with penalties, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, anything could happen between now and the end of lap 29, of course. There's plenty of time for some more track limit violations that could see the tally of penalties rack on up. Drafer is trying to get past Mighty Atom, who you said is having a great Grand Prix, considering he was down right at the back, P19 at the end of lap 1. He's back up into P8 it was for a second, but he is side by side with the Red Bull through turn 1.
Oh!
A little bit of a squeeze from the Red Bull, forces him off ever so slightly, and he is back down into P9 just as a settle as AFL runs slightly wide through turn number 3 there, but follows through one by one at the moment. The battle up the top though still raging on. Tomo Tip Top holding within that 1 second of BX37 Pro. Ben trying to hunt down his teammate. Of course, Mighty Baguette has got the free setting time penalty. His battle isn't really with Ben or Tomo Tip Top at the moment as Curly gets past AFL. I think I've seen a little bit of a front wing or something go there.
Possibly.
AFL dropping like a stone. Doesn't seem to be any damage, but we know that that isn't always an indicator. You can't just go by how it looks. It has it does sort of throw you every now and again. Warrior Huntsman all over the rear of the Ferrari of Gotti Lefalon. Of course, DRS now re-enabled Lee. We're going to see some big toes down into turn 1.
Oh,
AFL is
AFL
actually.
Round.
No, it's AFL.
It's AFL, yeah, AFL. Murphy with a penalty. He's turning down in 16. Not a great race for him. As we said, start works so well as Chim's gone wide, and him and Draper are side by side going into turn 1. Draper with the DRS as Warrior runs him past Gotti from on. Hard to keep up. Further ahead, Pancake going up again. Then you saw Tomo Tip Top, and I have checked by the way. Ben and Tomo are on 1 away from penalty each. So keep an eye out for that. That's for sure.
Speaking of penalties, Will Simple P15 gets another for his troubles, but yeah, that's that could be a crucial decider in the winner, and not just the winner, of course, the podium sitters in this Grand Prix. If Ben and Tom will both pick up 1, then your leading driver without 1 is Mighty Atom, and you never know if there's a late safety car.
Safety car, yeah.
It could be huge, even without those pens for those two. A late safety car could be huge for the likes of Atom, for the likes of Chimp, for the likes of Curly, who are riding on board with now as the battle rages on. Ben has got very close with Mighty Baguette once again back into the DRS, and that's of course is pulling everybody else along. He's not going to miss out too much on the likes of, position wise, because only 2 of them don't have pens, but it invites the pressure on. Can Pancake now maybe get a run? Can Warrior Huntsman get a run? And Mighty Baguette could quickly fall from P1 down to the likes of 5, 6, 7 by the end of this Grand Prix, Lee.
I just watched Ben, he's going to go for P1 now, he's going to get past his teammate. It doesn't defend, but he was on the limit of that final going. I thought he was going to get a pen certainly, but he just avoided it now up into P1, and we're just, for Ben now, it's about driving safe. Just don't get a warning, do whatever you can not get a warning. As now Pancake will try and chase after Baguette. Yeah, I think right with Baguette, I think he could start to fall quite quickly here, but maybe if Ben tries to keep him in the DRS, that is also a possibility that Haas drivers could pull.
Yeah, that's true. If Ben can keep him in the DRS, it'll give him a little bit of time each lap. Of course, only 1 available, so it won't be the best of pulls, particularly when he's on older hards, getting chased down by a fresh or soft runner. But those softs are going to have the fall off a cliff eventually. It's just, do they do it within the time left within this Grand Prix? We will wait and see. Tomo Tip Top was having a little look at Pancake down into turn 1 with that DRS, but couldn't quite make the move. And now he's got the pressure of the sister Mercedes behind Tomo Tip Top, in danger of losing this P4 to Warrior Huntsman. Of course, he will get it back on pens if he can keep that Alfa Romeo within the track until the end of this Grand Prix, Lee. But these soft runners are really cutting through the field pretty quick.
Draper with another penalty. Yeah, I agree with you there. It's Pancake right on the back of Mighty Baguette here, coming around the final corner. Baguette goes very wide here, and Pancake could try and go from here. He's going to use the ERS. He has a much superior ERS to what the Haas does. He gets past them with ease, and it's the battle of the foods, and Pancake goes out on top. At the moment, up in the P2, he'll chase at the Ben. He'll be praying Ben gets a penalty, because Pancake, if Ben gets one, could be on for a win. But it's not guaranteed yet. But Pancake at the moment on for a podium, and if he can pull away from Tom to the point, it could be a P2 at the moment, but yeah, Mighty Baguette will be hoping that he can on Tom to get a win and he can hold on to P3, but I'm considering he's on 13 at both hards. He's driven a regular race as Murphy's retired in the pit lane. I thought that could have been a nice safety car. But in the pit lane for him, so that's nothing to worry about. And now, yeah, 3 laps to go here, Scott, and we're in for a very good finish.
Absolutely. Pancake dropped out of the 1 second gap to Ben, as has Thomas Tip Top to Baguette. These will be crucial little miniature battles as they round, the penultimate corner and run down to the last corner. Who's going to be within a second of that DRS? Thomas Tip Top nearly getting overtaken by Warrior Huntsman, or potentially could have been on the run down to turn 1 last lap, but Huntsman having a poor exit from turn 16, almost losing the car, did well to catch it and keep within that train and not lose another position. So it is going to be key about where these 1 second gaps form and how they form, whereabouts in the track they are. You can see they're just hovering around it here, P2 to P1 and P4 to P3, and I think Thomas Tip Top has missed out on the DRS. Yes, he has. Warrior Huntsman has it behind and should
has no
get
ERS though.
It's going to complicate it ever so slightly, and he isn't getting close enough to quite make the move. If you're the likes of Baguette and Pancake, you really need Huntsman to try and get in this battle and slow up Thomas Tip Top to try and create that gap. Ben, though, 1.2 seconds clear. He is cruising out front. Chimp very close to the rear of Mighty Atom. The battle for P8, of course, still raging on. None of these drivers having a penalty. Warrior Huntsman picks up another, and he's going to drop like a stone towards the end of this Grand Prix with that.
Yes, he is indeed. I mean, you stole my pun, Scott, but it's okay. I let it slide. For now, Ben doing good at 1.3 ahead. He's controlling Gautier with another penalty. For the likes of Atom and Shane, I believe Huntsman, Fallon, and Draper all have 6 seconds. I think Draper has actually 9 seconds. I'll tell you now, actually. Draper has, they all have 6 seconds, so there is still a chance to get a P6 or a P5 here. So maybe these guys shouldn't battle and try and work together. I'm not too sure what they'll end up doing, but yeah, Ben driving well at the moment, keeping in check to also extending the gap, as I think Pancake soft tires will be set the dial. I think we could see Mighty Baguette go from, but at the moment there's a battle for the podium, with Thomas Tip not dropping off too much behind. Oh, Pancake, no, he's spun, he's round. I was mentioning about tires being dead, and I think those soft tires are finished. It was looking so good. He could have been on the podium, and now he's round and will struggle to be into points by the end of this race. Pancake, no, so unlucky. Oh, in the midfield! There's a crash on the straight. I think it's currently Mighty Am in front of us, Chimp. Currently going for a gap that wasn't there from what I saw. And just into the wall and round, and I think he has damage as well, so that could be his race over. But Ben now will have a comfortable gap at front, just control it. And at the moment, it's a Haas 1-3. But drama with 2 laps to go, Scott.
It's really all kicking off. Warrior Huntsman, Draper and Gotti Fallon going almost free abreast into turn 1. I would just like to make a comment that rotation, we do read the comments. It's just not very often that people like you have much to say.
That's rude, man.
If you want to watch the highlights, mate, you'll have to wait to the end of the race and re-watch the whole entire thing. But big shout out to you, Christine. You're always here, giving us some love and giving us some feedback. But it's the penultimate lap here, Lane. Like you say, things are really heating up. Ben on for his maiden win of the season, ahead of, it will be Thomas Tip Top if he can keep that Alfa Romeo within the track limits. Mighty Baguette should slot home in P2 as things stand. And then the real kind of battle on pace, you look like some Draper, 6 second of penalties. He could be in danger to Funnyos, Jim, to maybe even Mighty Atom and Spider. Well, not quite Spider, he's got pens himself, but plenty of mini battles raging on here as we enter the final lap of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, got a battle I want to see is Rob versus Atom. Obviously, Rob has penalties, but it was a go for it on the McLaren driver into turn 1. He used the outside line now and ahead into the corner. Mighty Atom will fight it though on the exit. Oh, there's an argy-bargy between the two, and Mighty Atom half spins. Rob gets the move and gives him a little push back there. I think very fair from all those guys. A bit argy-bargy, but within reasoning, I do believe. Rob up in the P on track anyway, but at the moment it's Ben just controlling the pace. So trying Team Talent is currently with a penalty as well. He's retired in the pit lane, fair enough for him there. As yeah, Ben always thereabouts.
Sorry, just to jump in, spin from Pancake, just losing it on those 10-lap-old softs. Caught that in the background.
Awful for him, yeah. Looked like a certified pole sitter, but now has dropped out of their contention. But it's Ben. He'll round the triple right hander here. Further behind, I mean, Gautier behind the back of Tom Tiptoff. Assuming he doesn't get a penalty, but let's see. Yeah, Ben's backed off massively. He just wants to conserve the car and get it to the end. Might even gets another penalty. Will he drop out of the podium here? No, he won't. Everyone behind the 6 seconds. He's okay, but that came very close indeed for the French. It will be PX37 Pro who will win. Get the first win this season. He'll come across the line. He'll win the first ever Qatar Grand Prix here in CR35. We're getting second. Tom Tiptop will jump up second. We're getting third. Gautier in fourth. Huntsman in fifth. Draper in sixth. Chimple gets sixth, I think. Yes, he will. Rob in eighth. My Yatum will get eighth, though. And the Hedgehog might jump up position or two. Hedgehog P9. Pancake up in the line will be the last point scorer in 12th. It will be Topher. Oh my god. Topher got him off track there. No, we're on penalties. I'm not too sure. Either way. Will Simple will cross the line last. He's got a penalty. Trying to go fast lap. He'll cross the line P14. What a race, Scott. What a race.
That was, yeah, it was, I would say, different conditions, different sort of action going on than we seen last week in Australia, but every bit entertaining. Some great battles, some great moves that, you know, the usual safety car drama, but overall, a very high quality race with a deserved victory for Ben, it must be said.
Yes, definitely, indeed. I mean, he got to him. His pace throughout the whole race. He was making overtakes left, right, and centre. It was such good from him. And Ben, who's always there actually, Billy, he was like 7. No, he actually only had 12 points, so that will bump him up quite a lot. And most of the Champions League contenders finishing towards the rear end of the field, apart from a few, so that could spice it up a little bit. Obviously, I believe we had is it China next week, I think, Scott? I could be wrong on that one.
Indeed, it's Shanghai,
yes,
China.
We do.
Last season's opener, of course.
Yep. Good knowledge from you there. Yeah, Haas having a great round P1, P3. So you're 4-1 and then I'll go through it. So BX37 Pro winning in P1, Tom Tipton P2. Only, I believe, 4 out of the classified finishers not getting penalties. No, it's 5 actually. No, it's 4, I'm right. Yeah. Not getting penalties. So very good from those guys. Tom Tipton second, might be getting third. And Gautier Fillon in fourth. The 2 French drivers there getting results. Royal Huntsman in P5, Chimp in 6th. Draper in 7th, Mayam in 8th, Hedgehog in 9th, Spider in 10th, AFN 11th, Topher in 12th, getting with Mayam as well, I think. I could be wrong on that one though. And then Pancake in 13th, Wilson in 14th, and your DNFs were currently classified in 15th, Murphy in 16th, Ghost Angel 17th, Victor Mean in 18th, MKP in 19th. 2 Scotsmen round now the finishing order, Scott. But I know we say it's every week, but Tier 5, when does it not deliver amazing races, eh?
Exactly. It's always brilliant racing. Atom, I believe, is a reserve. He is a reserve, so I don't know if he scored points, but yeah, I think Topher is scoring his debut points for the season. Great to see for him, and great to see for our podium sitters. I believe Mighty Baguette is definitely up for a chat. As is Ben, maybe Tomo Tip Top. We'll wait and see, but if Mighty Baguette's up for a quick one, we'll try and get him in.
I'll get him in now. I actually need to. Wait a second. Mighty Baguette, yes. I'll probably need to spell his name anyway.
Since I always steal your thunder with the interviews, I'm going to hand these ones over to you, my friend. I think it's about time.
Thank you. How do you spell my BS name, by the way?
It is
Yep.
MIGHTY, and then
Yep.
bag, BAG,
Yep.
UETTE
You,
94.
okay, not yeah. Okay, fair enough then.
Spelling with
Thank
free fall.
you. They've all been added. Hopefully that we'll all get them in now.
Fingers crossed they'll all join for a quick, brief chat. Ben is in already, our P1 tonight. So Lee, I suppose I'll let you kick things off with this.
Yeah. So hang on, Ben. Congrats on your P1. I mean,
Inshallah.
a chaotic race from your end. You got spun on that ball and had to come from the back grid. Just give us, if you can, a summary of that race.
Yeah, that was it felt like a really quick race, but yeah, I was starting the hards, top two on mediums. I kind of wanted, I felt like I was rushing, like I didn't want to get overtaken by anybody, and then that's when I had the incident with Victor Mean. And then after that, I was just pushing for my life, trying to overtake everybody, catch up to the pack, and then safety car come out, and then obviously everyone on the hards was quite the same pace, so I wasn't really overtaking anyone then. But when I got onto the mediums, I felt like I was the Flash. I was just zooming past everyone, trying to get back up to the top. And in the end, it was a great result and a good result for Haas too. Would have been nice to have a 1-2, but still a good result. Yeah. Yeah. No, a good race after all, obviously. I need more results like that. The last two races, just too many mistakes, really. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, 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 same here.
Good respect between teammates there. Yeah. I will ask one more question though, Ben. Next week we are heading to Shanghai. What are your thoughts on that track?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a hard track, but I know it needs a good amount of practice,
Yep.
especially for the first corner.
Oh boy.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder how many safety cars will have at that track.
Can't wait to find out, mate. Can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
Well, that's it from me. Congrats on your P1 and go for next week. Scott, do you have any questions?
No, I'll keep it pretty brief. Congratulations on the result tonight, Ben. Solid drive.
Thank you
We've
very
seen you
much.
up there on a title challenge before. I think by my
Yeah.
calculations, it'll put you up around about the 40 mark, and a few drivers
Yeah.
failing to score points that were in that top title fight. So could this be the return of season 3 BX37 Pro? We'll wait and see.
I hope so. I hope so.
Brilliant stuff tonight, mate. I suppose we'll move on then, Lee. You've got P3, Mighty Baguette next.
Yes, might be good. Hang on. Congrats on your P3, mate. Excellent job. Would have been P2, unfortunate for the pen, but just if you can, because again, chaotic race, just give us a rundown of your race from your point of view. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very good achievement, mate. But yeah, and do you think now with that race, maybe there's a possibility for Haas to try and climb up in the construction championship now? Obviously, you and Ben P1 and P3. Is that something you're thinking about? I like to hear it, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's good. He's very good. He's very good at the qualifying. I think consistency is what he's got to work on. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Because next week we're heading to China. What are your thoughts there? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's all from me. Congrats on your P3 and good luck for next week. Scott, any questions?
No, nothing at all. Just to sort of echo, and you've only, of course, your second race this season. Missed the opener in Austria, and of course last week in Australia. But a P6 when you did racing in Japan, and a P3 here tonight. Your season's looking solid. Keep that going, and definitely a name that could be in the title charge. So congratulations once again tonight, mate.
You too, mate.
Same to you.
Yeah,
Same
respect.
to you as well.
Yes.
Then thank you both
Yeah,
for
take
joining
care,
us.
man. Thank you.
All right.
Well, Lee, that rounds off round number 4 then of this Tier 5
Already.
championship.
It's crazy.
Another winner, of course, as well. Your prediction of 5 winners.
Oh,
in
my
5
prediction's nearly here. Okay, we need someone who's won so far. We have Ben. We have Mark. We have not Riordan. Who else won? Sugar. I can't remember who won.
You've caught me in a pickle. I did have it open there, and you've absolutely caught me at the worst time. Of course, Ben tonight, provisionally, of course, but I don't think there was much he was involved in. Mark last week, Warrior Huntsman in Japan, and Riordan in Austria. So 4 out of 4 so far. Just need a new winner for you next week. Could it be Murphy's week? We'll wait and see. We've jinxed him
Very
already.
unlucky.
We've jinxed him already enough this
Yeah, we
season,
have.
so we'll keep his name out of our mouths. But we'll round things off here, Lee. We won't want to ramble on too long. Thank you for joining me once again, mate.
No problem, Scott. No problem at all.
And I've got to say, I'm impressed by your perfect attendance this season. It's been good to see.
Yes, same goes to you, lad. Same goes to you. I think me and you, just had that connection with us. We're just that amazing at commentary.
That's it, mate. That's it. But thank you as well to everybody that's joined in and tuned in this along. Make sure, of course, to come back on Thursday night. We've got Tier 1, 2, and 3 kicking off at 7:30 for Tier 3, 8, sorry, for Tier 2, and 8:30 for Tier 1. A bountiful host of commentary teams there, of course. AFL and Spider in Tier 3. Jamie and Glowstick in Jonathan and Glowstick in Tier 2, and Jamie and Hedgehog in Tier 1. Make sure to go give them some love. Me and Lee will be back at the same time, same place next week for the Chinese Grand Prix as CRL heads to the Far East for round number 5. We're almost at the halfway through this season. We're actually a third of the way through this season. It's flying by fast. The battles have been immense, and we hope to see you for some more this time next week. Thank you for joining us. I've been CRL Freefall, joined by the wonderful little Leroy. I had to get it in, mate. Have a very good rest of your evening.